Welcome to the Secrets to Mindful Health, where we explore the hidden truths of wellness in all its forms. From physical and mental health to spirituality, join me, your host, Beth Warren, at Nourished by Beth on Instagram and TikTok, registered dietitian for over a decade, and single mom of 6, as I share my personal journey overcoming challenges towards self-love and wellness. Together with my guests, we will inspire and motivate you to prioritize your well-being and create a life of balance and fulfillment. Let's embark on a transformative journey towards a healthier, happier you. I'm glad you're here. In this inspiring episode of Cooking Up Balance, Mindful Living as a Single Mom with Chanie Apfelbaum, we sit down with Chanie, a celebrated recipe developer, food photographer, and best-selling author of Millennial Kosher and Totally Kosher. Join us as Chanie shares her journey of nourishing her family and honoring her traditions while navigating the challenges of being a single mom to 5 energetic children. Discover her tips for balancing work and home life, the importance of mindful cooking, and how to infuse love and creativity into every meal. With her engaging stories and delicious recipes, Chanie shows us that mindful health encompasses not just what we eat, but how we live and nurture our loved ones. Follow her culinary adventures on Instagram at Busy in Brooklyn, which has over 116,000 followers, and learn how you can create your own joyful food moments at home. Welcome, Chanie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Well, I always say on here that it's extra exciting when I have my friends.
For sure.
So it's really fun. And then I always feel like we could give people a different look, like behind the scenes, which is really exciting. But before we even start that, just not that everyone doesn't even know who you are, but let's explain how you developed your culinary career and what got you to where you are today in like a brief couple lines.
I know. How do you put like 15 years into a little sentence?
Isn't it crazy how time flies?
I know. It's crazy. I can't believe I've been doing this for so long.
Right.
I mean, I really got into food just because it was a creative outlet for me. I'm very artistic, very creative. And I always feel like it was kind of an accident because I just always been someone who's tried all different hobbies and from scrapbooking to photography, but actually turned photography into a career as well because I'm a professional food photographer now. But, I always say like, learning how to cook is a rite of passage for any Jewish woman. When you get married, you don't have a choice. You got to make your way into the kitchen. But I had really never stepped foot in the kitchen before I got married. Kind of was forced to do it. But I'm not a technical person, and I always thought food was like all about science and following recipes. So it just never spoke to me. And then when I started cooking, I realized, wow, this is really a creative outlet. Like it's a way to express myself artistically, creatively. There's so much color, and I really fell into it more from like the plating, composing perspective, and then the taste followed. Went to kosher culinary school and also advanced my food photography career, taking classes in that. And yeah, what can I say? The rest is history.
It's more than history. It's also that your following developed, I think, I mean, because I'm your friend, that you also lead with authenticity. And the bio that I wrote for the episode wasn't just GPT. I actually edited it, where I feel like a lot of your authenticity shines through your cooking. And you can also see that with your stories and the Q&As you get of like real questions from people or
Mhm.
real curiosity, and you're always very open and honest. So you started off saying that the culinary part of it was more for the family home life, and everything that developed, and then that transitioned. So then your platform also transitioned to incorporate more travel and then more travel related food. So how do you feel all of that helped you mature in this cooking world, and how have things shifted for you in that space?
I always say becoming an influencer and all that, and even in my career, it didn't really. When I started my blog in 2011, there were barely any food blogs on the web. I mean, now you have literally billions, right?
Mhm.
Um, and there was no guidebook. Like, how do I do this? So it was all kind of how things manifested over time, and what came around, what opportunities came around. Even just like after I wrote my book and then going on book tour and doing all these demos and like the events that I do, there was no, at least in the kosher world, there was no one to ask. There was no, it really hadn't been done. And I think it was just like I led with my passion. Like you said, I led with my authenticity. Like I'm just like, I'm a person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know this, Beth, about me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm as real as it gets. I can't hide it. If I'm going through a hard time, I always like, I'll like stay away from the camera. I'm not going to get on the camera and be like, pretend. I'm also not going to get on the camera and cry. Cause like, to me, the biggest ick is when influencers cry onto their camera, like on purpose. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like,
For the attention.
okay, you're sad. You can tell everyone you're sad, but like, we don't need this whole, So, and I also feel like, yeah, I do show that life kind of has up and downs, but I'm not there to bring anybody down. But in general, yeah. So I think it was just like how life evolved, and the same with with my personal life evolving into a lot of travel when I started doing my book tours. So then it was like, oh, am I a travel blogger now? I don't know. I guess I'm a lifestyle blogger. I guess I'm just a person who's just sharing all different facets of their life because it's happening organically. And a lot of that did lean into travel. I don't like to show my kids too much on social media, so I don't like share so much of that stuff. But I like to share what I think people will benefit from. When people are talk about like who they follow on Instagram, I always say like curate your feed to what speaks to you, and like I'm sharing like the things that I think people are interested in, obviously in a real way, but like it's for those that if they feel like it's something that they're going to benefit from. I do believe in giving people value, so if I'm going to travel, like I'll post a whole like some of the most popular pages on my blog are my travel itineraries, and
Hmm.
people will go to Italy and follow it to a T
Wow.
after. We went to Budapest together. I wrote a whole blog post about that, and I feel like I just want to give value to people, and I also want to show people that you can be kosher and you can still travel the world and have cool experiences. You could be a single mom and still, and still hustle and still have a career and still travel. Like, whatever it is in my life that I feel like I overcame, uh, that I feel like I could inspire someone else. I want to share that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about seeing a lot of you. We'll call you like the OG food bloggers turned Instagrammers turned influencers. Is we watched your journey mature. That's the
Right.
cool part about this concept is that, and then that's what I meant by authenticity. You don't, you're not stagnant and just this is what I do with food and like show the picture of your food. You incorporate your life into your food, which shows how you evolved over the years, and then incorporated travel, etc. Like it all makes sense for you, and it is helpful to hear, and it does come across that you're intentional about your shares, which I'm like that too. Like even though we're coming through with your life, you're not just exposing your life, you're still being intentional, thinking of your audience, which I think is why you have so many people. But I'm curious about, everyone always asks me, let's start with me. I'll have people come to work with me for nutrition and they just would tell me, I just want to know how you do it. Like they actually don't even care because they already know eating a salad is healthy. What do I have to teach them with that? Like, how do you do it? And I'm like, is that how I come across? Like, this is easy? Because this is not like, am I missing something? And then they'll tell me, no, you're transparent. I do sometimes share the challenges. I do have the tiers, let's say once in a blue, to show that. And I felt like it's such a good opportunity for us to kind of share some of that. And even if you lead with maybe the questions you get in the Q&A, because some of them are very, I don't know what the right word, direct.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I actually stopped doing them for a while after, like, just I feel like the keyboard warriors who would never say things to your face, and then you do the anonymous Q&A, and they're just so obnoxious sometimes and so judgmental.
mhm.
And used to get to me, but now I'm like, it literally goes over my head. I could care less. Like you rise above that, and you're like, okay, it's someone that's miserable in their own life. Um, but yeah, I wish it was like people could just be honest and upfront. Like, why does it have to be anonymous Q&A? Just put a regular box, and you could just, if you would ask it to me in person, then you would ask it to me in real life. That's a side note.
True.
In any case, listen, we've traveled quite a few times together. We make good travel buddies. I always say when you travel with someone, it's literally like you're married to them,
Oh my
because
God,
like
legit.
you're with each other when you're hangry. You're with each other
Yeah.
when you're tired. The good, the bad, the ugly, and it's like you're having your meltdown here, and you're this and that. You know that you're really good friends when you can overcome those things and just get up and then go and have fun, and also be there for the good moments and the bad. because
Yeah.
that's life. That's real life. But I've watched your struggle, like just with balancing and making things happen, and just things unexpected. Something hits you, you have to replan, you have to reschedule, you just don't know till the last minute. Um, I feel like when people are watching on it from the outside, it's like, wow, like, like she got divorced, she's traveling the world, like look at her, but like they don't know what it took to get there, and it's a lot of moving parts, and also just like, not only that, besides for physically moving parts, like emotionally, every single time I leave my kids, I have like tremendous anxiety. And like while you're away, I'll suddenly have a moment of like sadness or the realization like it's a chag and I'm not with my kids. And it's like, I don't know if you remember when we went to Budapest and we walked for 2 hours to this 200-year-old shul. We had a 12-person choir that they brought from Israel, and it was literally one of the most moving experiences of my entire life. But I could cry thinking about it. I sat there and I just had this like very, very, very deep soul moment where it was like, I'm so far away from my children on one of the holiest days of the year. Like, why is this my life? And I started to sob from the core of my soul, like literally like wailing. And this old lady who was like, she had lost her whole family in the Holocaust. She came to give me a big hug and like, do you remember this?
I remember. I was just letting you
But
talk.
like you just like these are things that you experience that like don't make it to social media, and from the outside it's like, oh wow, cool, look at her, she's on the Danube and whatever it is, like. But these are the real moments in real life, and I think that people don't always get to see the struggle. And also like so many people reach out to me who are like contemplating divorce and are like, oh, like it seems from like following me like, oh, life is so easy and life is so good. I'm not showing the hard parts, and I always say like, you know being in a marriage that doesn't serve you is hard, and being divorced is hard. Choose your hard. They're both hard. It is so hard. um and yeah, I mean, and like, I think it's easy to watch someone's stories and think that you see a whole picture of their life, but everyone has things that they're not showing. Like I said, it's curated content. I don't need to show you the meltdown.
Yeah.
I always, I love planning trips for other single moms and making groups and going together, and I'll say everyone has moments on their trip where it's like they're really missing their kids, or something happens at home, or whatever it is. There's like always I think we get it. We get each other. Single mothers speak a language that we just kind of understand each other.
100%. I mean, you touched at the end where you said it's curated content, but and like kind of what are we really here for on our platforms? Like, let's all be honest. Like, you are here for the food. You want to see the travel. Like, it's not, you don't really want to see all the down moments unless you just sort of want a gossipy feel, which we're not here for either.
Yeah.
But I remember when we also went to Guatemala together. I mean, we should probably list. I don't even know. We don't even need to know that, guys. We went on so many trips together, and we're only going to go one more.
Guatemala, Budapest, Colombia,
Colombia.
running through coffee fields on horseback for like 4 hours. That was a
You know
memory.
what's also very funny? We vibe together, but we're very different in a lot of ways. Like even things we like to do, we connect in them because I think we both like to experience things, and I think we're always very open when we travel, and we want to like do whatever the lay of the land is. But like Colombia, when the horses showed up to the Chabad that we like horseback rode on. This is not like luxury. They come on the beach holding on to the front. It's like a Colombian comes from his stiebel. I don't even know what these things are called. And he comes with these horses. You're like, are those for us? And we went horseback riding. We couldn't get off because it was over 2 hours of a horseback, literally in God knows where, tiny woods where when you feel like you're falling off the horse because they're going in such a single line.
Literally going through the forest and leaping down like, I don't know what, but like cliffs. And
Yeah, and Chanie at one point's
you're
like,
not even
guys,
wearing
I'm
a
not.
helmet.
Remember, you're like, I'm not going back on. Like, I'm just not going back. We're like, what do you mean? You were stuck an hour and a half, middle of nowhere. Like the only way back is through. Like, got to get on the horse. Get back on the
We
horse.
legit couldn't walk for 2 days after. It was
That
crazy.
was funny, but then also I think I like everything you want to do. I don't. Oh wait, you also don't love to hike. That's
Yeah, I
another thing.
like more mild hikes. Yeah,
Yeah, but we always find the common ground. That's like the nice part. I always value
we
like
both
not
love coffee, so that helps
that helps.
big time.
Yeah. I think, oh, and you go to sleep late and I wake up early. That's a very, that
And you
talk
go to
about
sleep
married
early. Yeah,
couple. Yeah.
yeah,
Talk about married couples. That's one of those that you just got to vibe around someone, but you learn. And I always value you and I value the company, which is another thing that with the single momhood people don't realize is like the importance of support and building a community within the network of single moms, which is very interesting, even locally for me. Like it's a little, I don't know. I don't feel everyone is even so open in that circle. Like they have to kind of not feel shamed or like they're alone in it and be more open to go out of their comfort zones to meet people. You've introduced me to so many people, and I was, especially more in the beginning, like just quiet, there in those scenes.
yeah.
I'm thinking of our Guatemala trip. I went to Guatemala and you pulled me into this group of girls that pulled each other in. And next thing we know, we had like 8 single girls going to Guatemala, which is one of the like transformative trips. That was, I think, well, Budapest was first, and then we did Guatemala. So it was still my early days of separation. I think we were around the same time with this. And I remember what you were sharing, where because we were so many people and everyone was kind of outside their comfort zones, people came alone, kind of acquaintances. And I think that concept of being so far away, like kind of lets things come out. And a lot of us shared different moments of like emotional, like I want to just be with my kids. I remember that was like a very emotionally heavy trip, trying to give everyone support and space. It was like a balance that I found very interesting. So you're right, things do come up and people don't realize that part. And I don't know about for you, but these days it's feeling a little less to me like two separate lives. But in the beginning, it felt like I have two totally different lives, and
Totally.
I would get so shaken up at each transition. So when I would transition on my weekend, let's say, or the holiday, I would like be quiet for like 6 hours because I'm just like, where am I? Like this very
Literally.
voodoo feeling.
Yeah.
And then the question, yeah, like, this is my life. Is this my life? Like, this is really my life. It still comes up where I'm like,
Yeah.
this is interesting. It's my life. But what we're trying to do, I think what we did great together, yay for us, is we really try to make the most of our time and say, if we're going to be alone, let's travel. And by the way, we get away with some crazy budgeting travel. Like people, that's another misconception. Look at them jet setting. Guys, I had to carry toilet paper into Guatemala bathrooms. Like, I'll never forget that trip. Like, I'm like, who am I traveling like this? That I never used to, like, I never thought I would carry my own toilet paper into a stall in, what are they called? These places that are not hotels,
Hostels.
hostels.
Yeah.
So like times have changed and I just opened myself up to that too. That's a big deal too, especially when you're budgeted and you want to do things. There's a crazy like world of budgeting travel out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say like I'm at a point in my life that I don't want to stay in a hostel, but I definitely don't need to stay in a 5-star hotel. And that's also the beauty of traveling with a friend is like you're not married to each other, so you each when you split it, you're splitting it.
Hmm.
So it makes it much more budget friendly. Being able to split everything, and if you travel with a group of people, even more so. So it really, really definitely makes it doable. Um, so
And for
yeah,
single moms, there are these, well, first of all, you try to be a pioneer in this. You really do, even with me. You pull each other in. So everyone could really feel encouraged to reach out. And especially when it comes to travel, people really look for people to travel with. You know who I'm still in touch with? Rachel or Rachel from
from where
Guatemala. She's a
I don't
digital
remember.
nomad. Everyone should follow
I'm.
her. She's,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, she's
I
great.
still follow
Nut dick.
her. Yes, I ended up going to Nicaragua myself. You know that
Yeah,
I did that. So you guys, you just get even a little more crazy, and but that's also because no one's around my time. It was like a yeshiva, like my kids' yeshiva week, and I like reached out to her for support and like co-op to do it. She's like, "No, you're okay." I'm like, she's in like Africa, like by
by
herself.
herself. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
she's amazing.
crazy. So it's a whole
I think
world.
people don't realize how empowering it is to travel alone. You just like, first of all, like I realize I just like I really enjoy my own company, and like it's just such a freeing feeling to feel independent and know that I got myself and I'm okay with just me. But going back to like why I started doing this, I remember like the first Chag, it was Sukkot when I didn't have my kids and I was in my mother's house. I moved into my mother's house and I was literally just like, I mean, I was never away from my kids my whole like ever. Like, and it was just like somebody takes your limb off your body. Like, I couldn't breathe. I was just like worried sick about them the whole time because you get hug, you can't call them, and I felt like I couldn't find my bearings. I couldn't, and I was rolled up in a ball, just crying and like how is this going to be my life? And I just made a decision like there and then that I'm never gonna do this again. And that's why every Chag comes that I don't have my kids, I'm like, I'm going to travel somewhere cool. I want to explore the world. I'm gonna, go out of my comfort zone, challenge myself, meet new people, distract myself because you're busy traveling, so you're just not like sitting there thinking that the whole time. And also, I think there's a lot of value in showing your children that like you're your own person and that you also have an independent being outside of being their mom and that you're going to explore the world and I think it teaches them a really great lesson for also just like perseverance and being independent. I really try to teach my kids independence. I think that's super important. I think in our society growing up, it's just kind of natural for women to be very dependent on their husband financially, socially, in so many ways. And I think that just friendships are like really underrated. Like just having female support, female empowerment, and like we really, especially like in the single mom world, we need that because we get each other and we can hold each other up. And I feel like we're the type of friends we don't talk every day at all, but like if either of us is going through something, we'll just text and be like, "Can you talk?" and talk it out and be like, this is what's going on, like, and you've been so supportive to me, like, and also just I think we're both people that are we want the growth, like we want to continue to push ourselves and strengthen ourselves and like not be stuck,
Hmm.
there's nothing worse than being stuck.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the whole process is like a learning process. It literally feels like a little bit of a rebirth. That's how
it
uncomfortable it is
is
at
very
first.
much a rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're still like kind of learning as we go. It's like a whole new cycle of life, so to speak. And thank you because you're a big support for me too. And I think what's also nice is like sometimes we're even like kind of we need each other in a sense where it's like, oh, well, we need to do something this weekend, or
Yeah.
I need an outlet, like I need, and then we'll try to come up with an idea, even if it's coming to either of our houses. I was just in Crown Heights by our friend Farrell, and Chanie came for lunch. So there's ways to keep connected
And just
and
to give
to
people an
each
idea
other.
of how like life is just like so, everything changed from minute to minute. It was like I've gone to you so many times for Shabbat. You were coming to me for the first time, or how do you guys say it?
Shabbat.
Shabbat. Shabbat. The
Shabbat.
first time Beth told me Shabbat, I was like, "What language is
Yeah,
that?"
Syrian culture over here.
Learning the deal lingo. Anyway, so you're actually finally. I was so excited to host you. I prepared the whole room for you. I changed the linen. And I was excited. I'm gonna cook and this that, and like I ended up in the hospital with my son. And like had to cancel like last minute. Um,
That's a great point here of how plans unfold. By the way, and I've had many times with you that we literally had to change flights within 4 hours because I found out, oh, the kids aren't leaving when I thought they would leave. And then
yeah,
we all lost $600 because my flight can't leave at the time I thought.
yeah.
And we're all a little bit like, okay, this really sucks. What am I going to do? But at the same time, we both completely understand that there's nothing to do and this is our life. And like, okay. Like, so I rolled with it. And what happened, what Connie's referencing is I was going to go to Crown Heights, guys, like Crown, Crown Heights. And now, meanwhile, I go pretty often. It's a very cool area and really nice. You have the park there, you have the botanical gardens, you have like a lot of cool stuff. And ended up going to my friend Power last minute and we all made it work. And then this weekend, Connie came for lunch. So and Peril, by the way, I met through Connie on the Guatemala trip, but originally we all met her camping. We didn't even discuss
Oh,
camping.
camping.
Oh my God. Okay,
The first time I went camping in my life was with Beth, and
yes.
you also, it was your first time.
I'm just laughing because I'm talking about taking the toilet paper outside the Guatemala toilet. Imagine what camping was like. Apparently glamping just means that there's a porta potty. That's the
There's
extent
more
of.
than a porta potty. There's like actual toilets, but yeah,
No, remember the first camping, Chanie? It
not
was a porta
glamping.
potty.
Oh,
No,
I
but
know, I know.
oh,
Oh yeah, those were bad. Those were so
I
bad.
didn't look in a mirror in 25 hours because that's all I made it. I remember I didn't stay the second night. The second Shabbat was over. I'm like, and who knows where, 4 hour drive. Okay, bye. I think I'm good. I don't know if I have all my stuff. I can't see anything,
Have you
but
gone camping since or
I
no?
went with Peril once, and that was even worse because it said chance of rain. And I'm noticing. So, guys, what happens is you get pulled
Camping in
on
the
these
rain is the
chats.
worst.
Okay. So you get pulled on these chats. First of all, there's a camping world. Talk about a travel world. There's a camping world. These
Yeah,
people live in tents, live their life for tents. The second the temperature shifts, they are gone.
yeah.
Okay, fine. And go with those people, by the way, because they have all the stuff. They make these like beach tents. They have the vibe. They understand how to do an
They
eru in the
cook
middle of a. They
everything.
do.
Yeah.
You just go with one of those. Okay. I mean, if you want to go after the story. So you get pulled on these chats when you confirm you're going to go. And everyone, by the way, should try to contribute, or you contribute some money, or whatever the case is. Don't just go and mooch, guys. Even though I take someone's tent, I'm not moocher. I'm like, can someone bring me a tent? Can someone bring me this? And it said chance of rain, and I'm noticing people are dropping off the chat. I'm like, okay, we'll be a small crew. I don't know anything. And I go, and it starts raining as I get there. I get there and it's raining, and so now you got to unpack and do your tent when it's like raining. I ran over a tree trunk. Like, what's a tree trunk doing in the woods? I don't know. They were. It was like one of those like spots that you can pull up. I don't even know why you didn't come that weekend. I definitely told you I was going. I
Probably
killed
have
the
a picture.
bottom of my car. Thank God my tire didn't pop because I was in the middle of the woods. But okay. And then at night, rain on a small tent feels like claustrophobia,
Yeah.
FYI. It feels like the rain is hitting you, only it's not because you have the tent, but you feel the pellets, and it's like claustrophobia on steroids. And I didn't want to be a baby with all these like major campers who were so fine, chilling under the tent, like squished in a huddle, chatting while it's pouring around them, like those beach tents. I ran out of my tent and I just had to pretend I wasn't a baby. And thank God, I don't know, I fell asleep somehow. I was ready to like walk home in the woods. I don't know. It was the scariest experience ever. But these
I
experiences
actually
are so
love the
fun.
sound of rain on a tent, but I get it. I
Really?
do, yeah.
It doesn't feel like claustrophobia?
Not for me, but you get very claustrophobic.
I know. By the way, I shifted a lot, but that I noticed. Talk about things that come up when you travel. I
Yeah.
developed claustrophobia. It was like in Guatemala that I noticed. It was like something came over me. But the whole point here is like a lot of emotions and things are processed when you're alone, because as a single mom, you're doing the job of not only everybody. I feel, at least I could speak for me, I'm doing it with added pressure that I have to make everything look perfect, even if it's on my own, but it's not really on my own. People are looking. People know if your kid's like hair was not like brushed or you forgot their notebook. Oh, Leah, well, she's, she works like, like she works like she's not around. So I just, I feel the pressure, and you're very busy. Like, you're busy with that stuff. You're busy with, I just have a car lease issue now I got to deal with. Like, there's all stuff that comes up. You don't have time to process anything. And this is what actually, I want to say it hurts. Like, I'll use a nice word. Like, it hurts when you become a single mom, you're not just looking to process and take care of yourself and like, oh, now I'm not with like a husband. We were both in long marriages. I was 16 years. I have 6 kids. You have 5.
Same.
So yeah,
16.
16 years. You got to figure out what this is like to be alone, period. You have
Yeah.
to understand everything. Now you have like tuitions to pay for. You never even understood what that phone call is like. And those phone calls are a lot and they're very heavy. Like, all this stuff is coming on you, and you got to deal with your children being okay and the emotional health of your children, and that they're okay and they're not feeling it. And it's so much. So how in the world are you going to process like trauma or things? And for me, I noticed like that trip and what was coming up in some travel is like kind of this claustrophobia feeling of panic, um in that setting, like the airplane and whatever, and it's very, and the car, and that's another thing. Chanie probably wants to kill me. Chanie and I sometimes have to battle the front seat because I get insanely car sick, and Chanie sometimes like, Beth, I'm sorry, like I need it, and I'm like, shoot, I can't go. Like, what do we do? like there's real problems that come up. But it's part of this claustrophobia thing that it's feelings that I learned are coming up for me that I need to work through and process. And that's why on all these podcast episodes, I have so much about everything about wellness. So everyone could listen to that, healing modalities. But I don't know it's there. I know I'm not okay because I'll be anxious in daily life, but I don't know that it's there to work on until I'll go away and be like, why am I having a panic? Like, where does this panic attack coming from? So it's crazy. A lot comes
Interesting.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have things that come up like that. I think everyone's different. You just process emotions, I feel, if and when we go away. Like, meaning you're good, you're very in touch with it. I think for me, maybe mine's stuck and then I feel panic or something. But a lot comes up and we have to deal with all that balance of the kids and becoming single moms that I feel like people don't understand also.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But again, we're talking more about the fact that we balance, we try to make the best of the situations when they are, and like the weekends. So when you shared when you first started having weekends, yeah, for initial weekends off, I would just cry in bed all day. I didn't understand how are you not with your kids on Shabbat? Like, this is so crazy. So it is hard when people look outside in and they're like, oh, so it's great that you're able to travel. It's like,
And your married friends are like what I would do to get away from my kids for the weekend, right?
yeah. The
Yeah.
first 4 hours, I would admit, oh my gosh, always I go to sleep right away.
Yeah.
It's like my eyes shut and I can't move.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
Beth could go to sleep at any point, anywhere. Like she just closes her eyes and she's sleeping. Not
and then
me.
I'll, and then I'll come back in the middle of the conversation like
Exactly.
30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but right. So maybe I don't know if you go to sleep, but what we do share, this is the struggle. The struggle is, you want to push yourself because you were sharing like when you were by your mom, etc. I'm the same way. Right away I said there's no way I could be with family on the holidays when I don't have my own family. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that, so I feel you on that. Right away, I didn't know what that meant. I just know that wasn't happening. So it's just it's too hard. But I'm also exhausted. So we always are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Maybe like 15 times. And then it's like, I'm just going to go to sleep, like, and stay home. But then it gets very long, is my point. So yeah, our married friends and whoever can say, oh, that's great. I want like 4 hours. Like, I want time to myself, but like 4 hours, like I'll give you 4 hours, not an hour, but like 4 hours later, you're like, what am I doing with myself? Like, that's it.
Well, now that the weather's nice, you can definitely get out and go to the park. But yeah, I find the long Shabbosim very difficult. Yeah. I'm not a reader, so that's hard.
But you touched on it, like going for a walk. It's interesting. So I associate everything with wellness, weight, everything with like self-care, like understanding that you like feeling good for yourself internally, whatever that means, and it has to come from that place of wanting to take care of you in a sense. And
You're really good about that. I definitely learned that from you because it doesn't matter how crazy your life is, you are going to carve out time for your self-care. You always, like I've seen you do it. Like I mean, the things you'll do to just get in your workout, to just like, you just move your body because you know that if you do not do that, you are not going to survive. Like that's it. So I'm not like, I will just push myself till I physically can't anymore. And I struggle with that. I struggle with making time for self-care. Yeah.
I see I wouldn't even call it a struggle for you. I see you're like kind of back and forth with it, but I am very proud because you do push.
Yeah.
I feel when you need to push, when you know you really need to push. Like I think there was a recent trip. Oh, even Colombia, your second tale of Colombia, when you were deciding should you do it, should you not, what should you do, and then you did it. And then remember you went out, like you traveled alone to get there, and you did it. And you didn't
Yeah.
know if you should do the steps thing because there was so many steps, and you
It
did
was so
it.
easy, by the way. It was so easy.
You see.
Guadalupe.
But all of
Yeah.
that is battling your brain of like, is this good for me? Should I do it? But I'm also so tired, but I also don't feel like it. Like I feel like all that comes to the front for us all the time because we're always in these positions of should I, shouldn't I? Because
Yeah.
it's not the status quo your life. It's like what shoe is going to drop now, or where is this going to go, or how's this going to, like, it's just so different. And for me it's very different because I was always a big planner, and now I'm like last minute planner, and that's different.
Right.
It's a crazy life. But I don't know. I'm grateful for it. Do you feel like we have anything to share with people who are either becoming single mom? Well, we'll do one where people are becoming single moms, maybe some tips that you would do, like looking back that you feel like you wish you knew. We'll start there, and then we'll end with what we feel we want other people to know, like some tips or how they could best support single moms.
Okay.
So the first one was about people who might start becoming single moms. What do I would even think about this too? What do we wish we were told or know?
I think this is like super important, and this is important for people that are married also. I think that especially in our society, women don't have financial independence. They don't have the knowledge. They have no clue what, when, where, how the bills get paid. I mean, I have a friend whose husband suddenly died, and it was like she never paid a bill in her life. She had no clue where anything was. I think gaining knowledge, whether you're married or single mom, understanding, you know, your finances is super important.
I agree.
And even sitting down with a professional and looking at your budget and saying, okay, in the beginning, you're like, things are really really tight, and well, not just in the beginning all the time, but I think just understanding like what needs to get paid, when needs to get paid, where you can cut corners, being able to make time, to put away money so you can invest in self care, whether it's getting yourself a manicure or going out with your friend once a week or going on a trip. You're not going to survive it without that, because we're literally in a position where like we're constantly giving. We're just on the giving end. We're taking care of our kids. And the only way you're going to fill your cup is if you fill your cup. You don't have a spouse there that's going to make sure, like, I mean, it should always be like that. We should always not put it on anyone else. It's just the reality of life. If you're married, you have someone else that's caring for you. And here it's like you're in it on your own, and you got to fill your own cup, because you can't give from an empty cup. So that's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So I think really finances is a huge one, and it's the one that takes up most of our mental energy. Is like, how are we going to pay our bills? And, you know, being able to juggle that is huge. So I would start there. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, finances it's huge, and it's definitely on my mind all the time, probably because I'm so uncomfortable with it because I really didn't have access or understand it. So that's a massive great advice, even if
Yeah.
someone's married. And I would say the importance of support, even if you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And like I said, either some people are just exhausted, or for me, it was also just very foreign. And I had to find all different communities and different types of people and be open to it. And I don't know if you always are great in it, but you really got really good in it. You really attract people in a great way. Like I see you put yourself out there socially. It really is amazing to always watch. You kind of like inspire me to like push and open myself up to it. And you're always very welcoming in that. Not just with me, with a lot of people. So you kind of have to, and then you start building your network through that. And you start to see also that you start connecting to people who are more like you, even, or like new people. And I just never knew how important that support was. And it's important if you're going through something to call someone, to reach out. And I would say that was huge for me. So finances
Yeah,
and support.
I was just at this, speaking of female empowerment, like a Jewish women event, and a doctor spoke, and she said that what you see the most in people that retire is that they really go downhill, and the reason for it is because they stop socializing,
Mm,
not other things. Their deterioration comes from that, and how important support is and being around people. And I think, in the beginning, it's very natural to isolate, because you're like, if especially
morning.
in our community, you're divorced, and like it's like, yeah, it's like, but there's so many other people that are also going through that. Unfortunately, today it's very common,
Right.
but if you have someone, and a lot of us have a very, everyone's life is different, but certain challenges that are the same, and it's like having that support system is so crucial. And listen, when you're a single mom, not everyone could afford to go to therapy, and
Hmm.
it's that is your therapy. Going out with another single mom for a drink, and you had a really hard week, and you need to talk things through. It's like I always say, talk. I would never spend money on talk therapy because I don't need to pay a therapist to listen to me. I could go buy a drink with that money or a really nice meal and have my friend listen to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in therapy very much, but like talk therapy, I mean, other modalities of therapy, whether it's somatic work or,
Hmm.
other things. But yeah, talk therapy you can do with a
Yeah.
friend
And the
who
more
has
you
a,
practice it, the more natural it starts to feel. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
definitely, and I'm not a good networker by nature at all. And I think that, one of the beauties of, obviously there's so much challenge in divorce, but you just like, I know for myself, I mean, if you don't want to remain stuck, I'm constantly pushing myself out of my comfort zone.
You really
And
do.
I really do. And it's like, it has just like, I found parts of myself that I never knew that are so beautiful. And like, I think that it's just it's a blessing in a way,
Yeah. And you always have another story. And I'm like, oh my God, another Connie
Crazy
story?
stories.
It's
Everyone's
crazy
always
story.
like, Connie needs to write a book.
Oh, you
Forget
really do. Your
cookbooks. I
stories.
need to write my biography.
There's always Connie stories. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, awesome. Okay, well, I feel like this was super informative that we told people. Is there anything you want to end with that you feel like we didn't cover? Any message to the people? We were
Um,
even sharing how what we feel somebody who wants to support single mothers more, or what we want to let people know.
I think that support for single moms is definitely lacking. I think that um, what anything, if you live in a community and you have a neighbor who's a single mom, inviting her over, or like, if or if a neighbor could offer to take her kid to shul. That's something I struggled with a lot. Who's taking my son to shul on
Mm-hmm.
Shabbos? Helping, like, just seeing, oh, like, who's going to build her sukkah, like, so many things that are like, of course we can pay someone to do it, but everything, when you're living on a budget, that's difficult. I think that yeah, like, I think that when the thing that bothers me the most is like, if you have someone whose spouse passed away and everyone in the community is going to get together, and how are we going to support this person and take care of them because they lost their spouse. But like, when it comes to divorce, people think, oh, because it was a choice, so therefore what? We don't need
Mm-hmm.
support.
They
You
need to
don't
be
know what
like they
happened.
deserve the
You don't know the reason.
consequences.
What?
That they deserve the consequences of that.
Yeah, and you don't know why it happened. It's not for anyone to judge, and I think that a big part of being part of a Jewish community is, chesed and giving, and that's a core value of being a Jewish person. And it should extend to single moms and to single dads. You
Hmm.
single dads need,
Right.
need that too.
No,
So yeah,
amen. And chesed doesn't have criteria. I mean, you're not supposed to know people's stories. That's what
exactly.
chesed is. And
Yeah.
chesed could even be anonymous. But I completely agree. Throwing me a bone, I promise you, it makes me cry. Like the littlest things, like you took my garbage out. You put it on the street, so I don't have to do it at 5 in the morning when I got to go commute to Brooklyn.
A friend of ours that we both know that went to Guatemala, she posted on Facebook. It was Mother's Day, and somebody sent like a milkshake to her. She took her kids out for Mother's Day, and somebody sent a milkshake to her table with a little note and something like, "I know how much you push to
Oh,
yeah, like, you're like, just to support her as a single mom." And like, she posted a picture of the milkshake and the note, and I was like, I literally teared up. Like, is that not the nicest? It's
it's
such
the
a
nicest
small
thing.
gesture, and you could literally make someone's like
It
month.
could be the smallest gesture. It's like this handyman who like took a necklace that fell down the drain and didn't charge me. Like found got it for me. He's like, oh no,
Wow.
it's fine. Like these little things that I acknowledge and appreciate and are so helpful. But yeah,
Yeah.
these little like pats on the back, we need it. We actually really need it.
Yeah.
Um, Especially when we're always feeling like a little, let's say, defensive or like pressured. When you give someone and like someone did a professional media reel for me and he's like, no, it's fine. I know you're going through things, like take your time, like it's fine. And I'm like, really? And I always like cry. So it's like, it's the little things that it doesn't, of course, money is amazing. Giving discounts is amazing. because it's really very hard. But little things are also amazing, like acknowledgments or feeling seen, and it's really very special. So you could support in that way, and I think that's something everyone could do, and being a little more understanding. Like my school, once I had a talk with them, started to call me recently about putting last minute events during the school day. This might be different in all schools if there's more working mothers, but I said I can't change my work day within a week. And lately they've been so nice and calling me if something had to be changed. I'm like, thank you. Because I don't have another person that could just show up for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm showing up.
Yeah.
So all these considerations, like being considerate, being kind, helping you feel seen, like these things that should be human are
And
unfortunately
also, like, I
overlooked.
know it's easy for people to like look at me and be like, "Oh, she's got this. Like,
Hmm.
she doesn't need my help." It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about feeling seen. It's about feeling appreciated. It's about, um, yeah, like you. It's not about money. It's small, little, tiny gestures. Even a comment, a note, a text, whatever it is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm in. Well, I'm so happy you came on. Yay.
Yeah,
We
we've been
talked
talking about
about
this for
this,
so
I
long.
know,
So
for like 2 years, the
yeah,
podcast. But we did
probably.
it, and everything happens in its right time. So I feel like we probably both had to be in a place to discuss this topic where we are on this side of it, whatever this.
Yeah.
We will
Thanks for having me.
connect again, and this was awesome.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to hit subscribe or follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nourished by Beth, or listen on Spotify at the Secrets to Mindful Health podcast.